Live from FLH Radio, tonight's first ever wrestling podcast on Coming Off the Bench. This is going to be a slobber knocker. I'm Mac Dubs, that's AJ, and right down below is our very good friend, Joel Goodhart. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing just peachy, man. How bad can it be if I'm talking to you guys?
Hey, it could be a lot worse, right?
You don't realize how bad it is. You don't realize how low you've gotten when you start talking to us, all right?
Oh, no. I realize.
Oh. Well, we appreciate the compliment, I guess.
Not a problem. I'm here for you. You ask away, I give you answers.
Hey, look, we might end up like talking with Uncle Bay over there and run 3 hours straight and not even know.
I've done that. Hey, look, he's run as long as 5 hours one time. Are you kidding?
Yeah, I know.
He did give us the heads up that you got plenty to talk about and you like to talk.
I like to talk. You ask simple question, long answer.
All right. So for anybody who doesn't either doesn't know or has long forgotten, Joel, you have done a lot of work for the wrestling community and for the business. You have done just so much for TWA and which I believe eventually became ECW.
Yeah, we at the time we didn't realize it, but we laid the groundwork for the Attitude Era. We laid the groundwork for the ECW. In fact, I tell everybody that Tide wrote a book called Tide's Guide, but I created Guide. So what does that mean? Okay.
Right.
I was there long ago, and I left the business in 92. I mean, it's documented, but I left the business in 92. I came back briefly. Then I kind of hung around it. And I was happened to watch over the last year or so. I watched Flair do his last match. I watched Sting do his last match. I happen to be a big ELO fan, and they're doing the last tour. And it suddenly dawned on me that we never really did a final match. In fact, the last time we had a final match, I didn't realize it was a final match at the time. So I never really got the chance to put it all to bed. And that's kind of what we're doing on May 3rd. On Saturday, May 3rd, we're having a show called One and Done. I called it that because I'm not looking to get back in on a monthly basis. I'm not looking to rebuild the federation all over again. I want to do one show, call it a career, and then pack my bags. And so that's what we're doing. We're targeting May 3rd is the date. I know you've been in conversations with Bay. Bay, I'm sure, has given you the details, but we rented out the 2300 arena down here in Philly. The world famous arena. And we're going to be there on Saturday, May 3rd for 2 sessions. One, in the afternoon, we're having what we're calling a WrestleCon, not a WrestleCon, WrestleCon. And it's going to be from noon to 3:30. And we can go over a list of some names, and we've announced one name so far, one major name. I'm sorry?
I said a big major name in
the East. Big major name. And we'll talk about that in a second. And then at night, doors open at 6 o'clock, but the show starts at 7:30. We're going to have the final TWA show with a lot of surprises, a lot of untraditional, as well as a lot of traditional. It'll be a great opportunity if you're a wrestling fan. If you're a wrestling fan, you got to be there. If you're a WWE fan, don't bother coming. But if you're looking for some good old-fashioned wrestling, if you're looking for some of the old style stuff, come on down, check it out, and you'll be worthy. You'll be glad that you did.
I mean, it's definitely something to look forward to. I know that a lot of nostalgia acts have been really becoming popular again. I mean, you look at what WWE has done in recent years, you look at AEW, but still everybody talks about the ECW. Everybody looks forward to, a lot of the older stuff. I mean, if you go and you look at the views on YouTube of just all of the past stuff, like things that you have originated, they are getting more views than anything else in the wrestling.
Because the current stuff sucks. Okay, and people watch it. And again, everybody every once in a while watches one of the current wrestlers or whatever. They kind of like it, but the style of what we did is not current to what it is. Remember, when we built up the TWA, we did it with no television. We did it with no internet. And you young guys will never understand that, but we did it without any of this. And had we had the internet, had we had television, we could not have done what we did. Okay. Now, once Todd took over and then built up the ECW, he took it to a much further degree than I did. Even he ran into situations. And the one thing people forget about wrestling, I don't care who you are, I don't care how good the wrestling is. Even Ted Turner, at that time NWA put it on WCW, and he wound up losing his shirt. And he has billions and billions of dollars. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing negative about losing money like I did. But here we are 34 years later, and we're still talking about some of our shows.
Yeah.
So that says something.
Joel, you talked about coming in and doing just one show and that's it. You didn't want to get back into it, anything like that. My question is, if it turns out it's a bigger pop than expected, if you get everybody just begging for you to come back and wanting to do more, would you consider it? Would you think no? Just
I've told this a number of people. The reason I call it one and done is from a match standpoint, I'm done. Now, will I continue? Look, I'm writing a book, and the book is actually being released on May 3rd that day. Okay. So I'll hit the wrestling cons, and I'll hit some of the conventions and sell the book. So I'll keep my feet wet. No pun intended for me, but I'll keep my efforts into it. I'm just not going to look. Think about this one. Bay and I started to build this last March, and so it will be over a year by the time we do the show. I used to do one major show every 13 weeks. And had 6 or 7 shows between the major shows, and had a radio show at the time, Wrestling Radio. Okay, so at that time, look, I was younger. I'm 71 now. I'm busy. I still have my regular career. I'm still busier than hell. That being the case, what's keeping me going is being busy. But when it comes to matches, no. The reason I want to call this one and done, I'm putting the word out. This is it. I'm hoping that maybe somebody comes along and maybe wants to pick it up like Todd did last time and continue to run with it, but it won't be me.
But at least, and that's so great to hear that you're at least open to having somebody else, if they are interested, to just come in and see what they can do with it. Because you get a lot of people, that have such an emotional attachment to something that they don't, once they're done with it, they don't want somebody else to. I'll take Vince McMahon, for instance. He took, after ECW was bought by WWE, he pretty much revived ECW, just pretty much pissed on its legacy. I'm just going to call it like it is. And that, for me, that was more than just a slap in the face. So I could see how that would, like, either in your eyes or in Todd's eyes, or anybody's eyes, have something like that happen to what, like in how you laid the groundwork. That could, potentially be like, I don't want something that I helped build be disrespected like that again. So it's really kind and it's really nice to see that you are still very much open to allowing somebody else to take it and run with it.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it this way. When I had the TWA the first time, I went out of business in 92. In 2009, 17 years later, is when I had gotten a call from Michael Bruno. And Michael Bruno is his wrestling name. Michael Tartaglia is his real name. And he called me up. He found me, and he said, "Look, I want to restart the TWA. Do you mind if I use the initials?" And I said, "Look, it's been 17 years. Go for it. Enjoy it. Have a good time." Well, nobody ever told me, including him, that he was taking it over to squash it. And what he did is he took it over. He had it for a year or two. He then bought the ECWA. They had the matches where they had the ECWA versus TWA, and TWA lost every match, and TWA was buried. Well, that was until now. Now, what I will tell you is whoever takes it over, if anybody takes it over, I'll be there at the beginning, but I'm done. I mean, the people that are coming to the show, they need to know that it's one and done. And if I was going to run every quarter, then the whole idea of this one and done, the nostalgia, et cetera, just would be lost. So yeah, I'm done with it. If somebody wants to pick it up, God bless them, but it won't be me.
Are y'all doing any merch for the one and done show, like apparel or?
Yep, we've got so much merch coming down, it's ridiculous. One of the companies that I had done business with back in the day was a company called JPTs. And JPTs, as we speak, are developing the logos. We're going to have a one and done logo. We're going to have a TWA 2025 logo. We're going to have a WrestleCon logo. We're going to have shirts. We're going to have that merchandise. I have a book that I've been writing for about 8 years. And if it wasn't for this show, I probably would never finish the book. But the book is going to be called We Wrestled, We Brawled, We Started It All.
I love the name.
Well, what's interesting, the old logo that I had was We Wrestled, We Brawled, We Did It All. But Johnny Hotbody, who was one of my wrestlers on one of a podcast, said, "No, that's the wrong title. It's We Wrestled, We Brawled, We Started It All." And that's exactly what I did. I changed the name of the book. I changed the name of the book, and so I'm going to have that book merchandise. A lot of the TWA guys, and I have my little cheat sheet here of all the list of the names. But a lot of these guys are going to have merchandise. They have merchandise. Some of them are still wrestling 30, 40 years later. But they'll have the opportunity to do that at the WrestleCon. And yes, we're going to have plenty of merchandise.
So for the people that are with questions from Instagram, where they were asking for people that don't get to make it to the show, are y'all going to have like a website they can purchase from, or is it just all going to be in person?
Oh, no. We're going to have the website. Again, base hailing that, but details to follow. All the merchandise will be available. In addition, for the individuals that can't make it down to Philadelphia for the show, we're going to have it live streamed. Okay, so more details to follow on that. As soon as we get all these details locked up, we'll be in touch with you again if you want to do another podcast or whatever. But as we go forward, we'll give you some names. We'll give you the matches. We'll give you the merchandise that's available. Yes, it can be sold by going online and getting it all taken care of. But I will tell you this. If you want the full experience, you got to figure out a way to get to Philly. Okay? Now, the way we're doing this it's Saturday, May 3rd. From noon to 3:30, we're going to have the WrestleCon. Then there'll be a break for dinner for people to go out for dinner. Then from 6 to 7:30, the doors will be open if you want to eat at the stadium and get more merchandise. Then, of course, the show will be from 7:30 to roughly 10:30, 11 o'clock. And then we're having an after party. And we're actually going to announce that next week, but we're going to have a party afterwards. So if you want to make a full day of it, you'll be able to come to the after party. And we're putting together a deal with a local hotel so that anybody who wants to stay at a hotel can get a discounted rate to stay there. It's where we're going to be. All the people who are flying in will be staying. So all the talent will be staying at the hotel. And again, we'll have a party of all parties.
It's definitely something to look forward to. There's so much history with the 2300 Arena. That's always intrigued me in itself. Now, one of the questions that I have, if nobody over on Instagram or anybody has any questions yet, is being one and done and just moving on, I guess, to your other projects. I don't know necessarily who owns the 2300 arena, but is that something that you have thought about? I guess whether it's yourself and Vay, or maybe even being in talks of working out a deal with the owners of the 2300 arena, of bringing it back to what it's famous for, and maybe getting it somehow purchased, turning it into a museum or something. Something where people can go and see the historical
Yeah.
history of that
Well, I'll
TWA.
tell you, the fellow who owns it is a gentleman by the name of Roger,
Okay.
who I just met recently when I got the building. Interesting story. The TWA, when it first started, wrestled at Temple University's McGonigal Hall. Well, that building has been knocked down. Then we moved to the Philadelphia Civic Center, and that building has been knocked down. Then we did some shows at the Philadelphia Original Sports Bar, and that doesn't even exist anymore. So what happened was when they originally came up with the idea of this banner, which we haven't talked about, and then we started bringing up the idea of the one and done, there was only one place we could put it. I didn't want to put it in a high school gym. I didn't want to go look in buildings and that type of thing. The 2300 Arena has a lot of history. And part of the history of the 2300 Arena, if you go there now, there's banners hanging from the ceiling. Mm-hmm. And Rob Van Dam is, all these different wrestlers, Sandman is up there, etc. Right. And what happened was Bay came up with the idea. It was his idea, solely his idea, that there should be a banner that has 5 names on it for the icons of wrestling in Philadelphia. And the 5 names were DC Drake, the late Larry Winters, Tony Stetson, Johnny Hotbody, and Joel Goodhart. And he gives us a lot of credit, maybe rightfully due or whatever. But we created, what turned out to be a hell of a run. Mm-hmm. And so there's a petition online. I don't know if they sent you the links yet or not.
Yep, we both have signed. Yep.
Okay, so
I've tried to send it multiple times, but
okay. Yeah. Right now we need 1,000 signatures. So if you've been online, if you guys are married, you can get your wives to go online. That's okay. So we're up to a little under 600 signatures. So we still need 400. Our goal is once we get the 1,000 at the show on May 3rd, we're going to drop the banner. So we're going to have a banner ceremony. So that's part of the history of the building. We'll be emblazoned in that banner so people will kind of ask who we are. Roger has converted the 2300 Arena to an old, sloppy, ugly building that held a wrestling show, to where now he has wrestling shows, he has boxing shows, he has entertainment shows, he's got shows. He's made it a dinner theater. So it's not what it used to be, but he actually has improved it. He really has. And he cleaned it up a little bit. He's put a lot of time, effort, and money into it, for sure. And going forward, and again, they'll never have what ECW had, because that was the new kid on the block. Okay?
Yeah,
and
it was.
He's in competition, with all the other buildings that are out there. So long story short, I don't think you'll ever see it the same way. If you created one today, you couldn't do it. That just happened to have come out of nowhere. And the fans, look, what makes these buildings are the fans. The Philly wrestling fans are the best fans in the world. I don't give a damn what anybody said. Okay? And the fans in Philadelphia made the TWA. The fans in Philadelphia certainly made the ECW. And the fans in Philadelphia, quite frankly, when Crockett came to Philadelphia, okay, and that's where I got involved in the initial stages, it was phenomenal. That convention center, when they had the matches here in Philadelphia, were phenomenal because everybody was used to the WWF at that point. And to be honest, I'm not a big – they suck, okay? And it was just where I came in. I just said, what do people want to see? Well, the WWF, Vince McMahon said, if I design my stuff for kids, the adults have to come with the kids. And quite frankly, that was a hell of a business move. Okay, and he made him a billionaire. Okay, I got out of business in '92. I lost $168,000, and that was real money back in 1992. Okay, so his model worked. Nobody can argue that his model worked. It's just not for me.
It's one of those things where I believe a lot of people, they get so lost. You start making money and then you get consumed by it. You get lost, where you start to lose who you are and where you came from. And I don't. I just, for me, I'm not. I'm not all about that. I firmly believe that you need to. Doesn't matter how much money you have. You have to stay true to who you are. I mean, you could have $100 and turn that into $1 billion. If you lose sight of who you are, at the end of it, you're nobody.
Look, my number one in hindsight, I was always a mark. I'm a fan of what wrestling is. Okay. And to this day, I still don't see what I'm looking for. Now, that being said, I'm not going to get back into it. I mean, I'm true to that.
Right.
But this show that we're going to put on is going to be TWA style. I was able to find about 24 former TWA talent that are all in on this. There's a couple of them that are not in on it because they're out of town, et cetera, et cetera. One or two of them wanted to get paid to get involved. And the idea here was to get the flavor of the TWA, put it out there. I'm kidding with everybody when I say, well, if you want ice cream, you can go to Baskin Robbins. There's 32 flavors. Well, what my question here is it's TWA with 32 flavors. Okay. So I'll tell you what, I don't know if you're familiar with the talent, but I'm going to go down this list and just kind of give you an idea who's going to. These are people who have signed up. They're going to be in town on May 3rd. Let them live and be well. We've lost a lot of wrestlers, and we'll get that list too. But this is in alphabetical order, and this is some of the people. Again, if you follow the TWA, you'll know who Donnie Allen is. Donnie Allen was the handler for DC Drake. Donnie went on to his own little career as a musician. We're going to be using some of Donnie's music for our show. The second one is Bob Ortiz. And Bob Ortiz was one of our ring announcers. We had a number of ring announcers. But when ECW was created, he was the ring announcer for ECW all the way through. So Bob and his wife Lex were with us. He used to sit with us ringside. Eventually, he came on to us, worked with us, became a part owner of TWA, and obviously built his own career. Then we have another fella, Ernesto Bonifica, who came to the TWA Wrestling School, which was called Ringmasters, and he got started the business. He now lives in Bucks County, and we found him, or he actually found us, and he will be there on May 3rd. Breaker Morant. Breaker is still around. Breaker is still wrestling. The neat thing with Breaker was in the second wave of TWA, and he's already announced he's on his retirement tour, and we're hoping to negotiate with him to have his final match with us at the May 3rd show. Still not locked up yet, but if you go on his, if you follow him on Facebook, he's done 4 of his 7 last matches, and we're hopefully try to get him to be with us on the 7th last match. Then we've got Hitman Michael Bruno. I mentioned his name before. He was the guy that bought TWA and then buried it, and somehow or another that didn't sit well with me. So I can't wait to see him again. But he'll be there on May 3rd, and I might just have to take it out on him on May 3rd. Cujo Hellhound is coming in. Cujo was, again, one of the stars in the second wave of the TWA, and he will be in-house on May 3rd. DC Drake, one of my number one, if not number one heel. He was the one I built the TWA around. Him and Larry Winters was, without a doubt, it's just a shame that Larry passed away. DC and Larry was a main event wherever I put them. Now, unfortunately, they didn't have the name to be considered be a main event. These guys were just absolutely awesome. DC Drake lives up in Rhode Island. He's coming down from Rhode Island for the May 3rd show. John Finnegan is going to be in-house. John Finnegan was the lead referee with us at the TWA, and then he went on to be the lead referee for ECW. He's still a referee. He's a referee for ECWA and a couple other local independent cards, but John Finnegan will be in the house on May 3rd. Larry DeLone, who's a name that nobody knows. He's an unsung hero, but back in the day, he was the one that designed all my programs. And as it turned out, when I found him, he has all the old programs. So we're going to reprint all the old programs that you'll be able to get merchandise-wise. And then he's going to put together the program for the new show, The One and Done. Then we have Johnny Hotbody. Now, Johnny, I mentioned his name before. If you ever want a great interview on your podcast, Johnny's the great interviewer. Okay? I love the guy to death. He bled all over the city of Philadelphia for me. And Johnny Hotbody, I found him in Atlantic City, and he will be in town from the May 3rd show.
So, Joel, if I may, I don't mean to cut you off. I apologize.
Yeah.
But I can't resist here. So we've actually interviewed our great guest of Johnny Hotbody. Really fantastic guy. Actually, started a great friendship with him until Mac decided he wanted to ruin it. Mac, give me just a second here. So problem we had there was. And I know Mac has been jumping on me about this. So, and bless his heart. So, great guy. We love Johnny. But my question for you is: do you believe in the Phoenix Times? I don't know much about that. I mean, it's something I guess to talk to Johnny about. But Mac decided to bring up a good point and talk about that we don't live in those times anymore. We live in the Gopher time. Well, I made mention about a fan that was obsessed with Johnny, and rumor had it that she was trying to say that she had a kid and Johnny was the father. Kind of ribbing him a little bit. Everything went great until Mac decided to personal message him and tell him about dinosaurs being man's best friend, and now Johnny won't talk to us anymore. So because of Mac being a dick, he don't like us.
No, that's not how it went. We had a group chat going on, texting back and forth, and it got historical. And just one day out of the blue, I read this article, and it was how a dinosaur was a man's best friend back in the caveman days. And I was telling Johnny about it, and after I told him about it,
Now, Mac, did you ever show him the article?
I sent the article, and I don't know if he ever read it or not.
Before or after he told you to go fuck yourself?
Okay, well, here's the good news. Johnny has told me for years to go fuck myself too. I think, the key, here's the key. All I know about Johnny Hotbody, he was a great wrestler. He made me money, obviously. We built shows around him and the feud with Tony Stetson. Mm-hmm. And I have guys that think A. I think I have guys that think B. We got the election coming up. I got Harris people. I got Trump people. Here's what I know. The love of wrestling, the love of wrestling is universal. That's it. And whatever Johnny's views are, he's entitled to them, just like everybody's entitled to their views. And we just go to Yep.
Shout out to Johnny. He's a great guy, no matter if he loves us or hates us.
He's a great love. Yeah, he's a great guy. And I'll tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed when I found him in Atlantic City. I went down there, spent a couple hours with him. We just talked old times, and he sacrificed his body for the TWA. And, he's old enough now that he's breaking down a little bit. He has his health issues, as I do. But he gave the people of Philadelphia his body and his soul. And whatever his opinions are. That's the way I look at it.
And Joel,
Johnny, I just hope to say if I do get to make it and I get to meet you in person, I apologize. And you can
Johnny,
knock my ass. You can sucker punch me if you would like.
Hey, don't laugh. He might do it. He might do it.
Nice. But Joe, I apologize for taking you away from the list
No,
and going off topic.
it's your show. Interrupt me anytime you want.
I do want to say though, you look damn good for being 71. I would have thought you were at least 63.
Well, I'm 71 years old, and I've had my health. The last 3 years, I've had a health history, which we could spend a whole week on, what have you. But I feel good. I feel good, and I'm looking forward to May 3rd, to being there. And, hopefully my goal is to stay alive long enough to be there. And I'll be there in spirit. Bottom line is, this sport, for those who are physical, for those who actually wrestled, if you're now 60 or 70 years old, you've had health history. So, for example, DC Drake had heart issues. Johnny Hotbody has had physical issues. Glenn Osborne, whose name I haven't come up to, walks with a cane. I've had guys have triple bypass surgery. And a lot of these issues are because, quite frankly, they sacrificed their bodies for the fans of Philadelphia.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. Everyone go grab another drink. Go grab some popcorn. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with Joel Goodhart.
Imagine freedom, but only it comes with chains that you can't see. Every year in South Carolina, 11,000 are released from prison and carrying the invisible weight of their past and facing a future that's blurred with uncertainty. My brother was one of them. Found Jesus, found hope, and then the world outside tested him. Pushed him down a hole so deep that he couldn't climb out. The day he shared his deepest pains to me in a letter was the day that he chose to end his story. Well, his ending sparked my beginning, a mission to make sure that no one walks alone after prison. Jumpstart isn't just a program, it's my promise, our promise to lead faith inside the walls and carry it out into the world. We are here to lift the weight and clear the haze of uncertainty and to stand by those who seek redemption and a new path with Jesus. Join us and be the difference in a story of transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jumpstart.
Everybody, welcome back to Coming Off the Bench podcast on FLH Radio, live on Live 365. I'm Mac Dubs. That's my brother AJ, and down below is our good friend Joel Goodhart, and we're back.
So, Joel, who else do we have on this great list of people that are going to be there?
Okay, so continuing the list, like I said, in alphabetical order. The next one is Rich Engling. Rich was one of my first referees, and Rich is vice president of the Cauliflower Alley Club. And in fact, we're doing our show as a fundraiser for the Cauliflower Alley Club. I happen to be a lifetime member, and Rich Engling is coming in from Florida, and he will be in attendance. Jimmy Giannetti. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying we've heard of the cauliflower. We talked to
Bruiser Brody's wife.
Barbara Goodish.
Yes.
Yeah, yep. Fantastic woman.
Yep.
But yeah, we were actually hoping, and Mac, I know you and I both been slacking. we got to get her back on the show. The Cauliflower Alley Club is a great cause, and we're hoping to actually get in touch with that and seeing if somehow we could also be a part of that.
Well, I'll tell you, our show's going to be a fundraiser for it. Like I said, I'm a lifetime member. If you really want to get some good information, Rich is the guy to talk to.
I think that's who Barbara said. I think that's who Barbara said to talk to as well.
Yeah.
Was it that, or is it Brian B. Blair, or I can't remember.
Brian B. Blair is the president, but he's hard to get a hold of. He's hard to. Rich is the guy to talk to. Okay. If you want to text me after the show or whatever, I can certainly give you the contact information. I'm a lifetime member. Every year when I go out to see the conference in Las Vegas in August, I see Barbara there as well. So, yep, Barbara, she's another great interview. Needless to say, she's got some great stories, but Rich Engling is the guy for sure. Okay,
cool.
Anyway, the next one after that is Jimmy Giannetti. Jimmy is based in Florida as well. As it turns out, Jimmy's father still lives in the Philadelphia area, so he's going to be coming up to see his father and come up to the show. Jimmy Giannetti was taught at Ringmasters Wrestling School, and he was one of the TWA originals. Then a fellow by the name of Mike Keener. Mike is another referee that worked the referee in the second phase of TWA, and he's in the area, and he will be in attendance as well on May 3rd. The Blue Meanie. Okay, now I know a lot of people know Blue Meanie. He marks himself real well. He never, ever wrestled for TWA until the very end, but he would, when we had the Squared Circle fan club, from day one, Blue Meanie at that time, Brian was a member. Brian went on some trips with us to Memphis, Tennessee. He loved the business so much that the Blue Meanie is now a name that everybody knows. But Blue Meanie will be in attendance on May 3rd. Then Jim Molyneux. Jim Molyneux, who was the original ECW referee and was the ECW referee through the entire time, started out with us and amongst other federations in the local area. But Jim Molyneux is also committed to being there on May 3rd. Glenn Osborne. Glenn Osborne was trained at Ringmasters Wrestling School. He's another one whose body was given to Philadelphia. He's now walking with a cane. He's give or take 60 years old. But Glenn Osborne and Jimmy Giannetti had a feud beyond belief. And my concern is I got to get these two guys in the same room. Okay? And it's, I'm going to have a lot of this trouble to potentially bruise. Then I've got Bay Ragney. You guys all know Bay from talking to him.
Uncle Bay.
Bay was with Ringmasters Wrestling School for 2 years, and he never actually officially wrestled for the TWA because he was scheduled to wrestle on the show that we wound up having to cancel. But Bay Ragney will be in attendance, and he's coming in from Nashville. So they're coming from all parts of the country to be here for May 3rd.
Hopefully he'll wrestle at this event.
Yeah, Sandman. Everybody knows Sandman. Sandman started at Wrestling School. Started at the TWA. He's the one that created the persona that Stone Cold Steve Austin took on. Okay, and so the reality is, if Sandman didn't start with us in Ringmasters Wrestling School, Stone Cold may never have been as big a hit as he was. And Sandman is a hit unto himself. He will be in attendance with us on May 3rd. He currently moved back to the Philadelphia area. Then I've got Tony Stetson. Tony Stetson, one of the guys that will have his name on the banner, assuming we get the 1,000 signatures. Tony Stetson and Johnny Hoppe in the same building. This cannot be good. I've already had 6 or 7 calls from our insurance carrier about some of these that are all going to be in the same building. Okay, then I've got 2 guys, the alphabetical order, they happen to fit this way, Jay Sully and Steve Truitt. They were the ones that did commentary for the ECW when it first started. And Steve Truitt was Stevie Wonderful. Okay, so Stevie Wonderful and Jay Sully will be in the house. Then one of Larry Winters, since Larry Winters has passed away, and Larry Winters' name will go up on the banner that we're going to drop, one of his sons, Colin, has agreed to be in attendance. He's going to try to get some other family members there as well. But the late Larry Winters will be honored, and his family will be in attendance. Then Chris Wilde will be there. Chris Wilde is another one who wrestled in the second phase of the TWA, and him and Breaker Morant. This is a problem. I mean, these two, Chris Wilde and Breaker Morant. At one time, I used to manage both of them. Okay, at different times. Those were the current DC Drake and Larry Winners. These guys hate each other, and they're going to be in the same building at the same time. Glenn Osborne and Jimmy Jannetty is going to be there. Johnny Hotline is going to be. This is going to be an absolute mess. And then last but not least, Joe Zanoli. Joe Zanoli was one of our original referees way back in the day of the TWA. He then went on. He was originally a ringside photographer, became a referee for us. Then he became the booker for ECWA, and he gets himself involved in the different federations in the area, but he's going to be in the house as well. So there's a list of names, give or take 24 names. They're all going to be in attendance. Now, just so you guys will know, in addition to the obvious wrestling show, we're going to have 8 matches. In addition, we're going to have a 10-bell salute where we're going to honor all those that passed away. There's about 40 names that worked for me in some capacity, like Kevin Sullivan and Terry Funk and Bruno Sammartino. I can go down the list. That's a little list. We're going to have a 10-bell salute. At that point, we're going to have all the TWA guys and ladies around the ring. We're going to have Bob Artiste in the center of the ring announcing the names. We're not going to do 10 bells for each name. We'd be there all day. We're going to do 10 bells for all the names of the guys that passed away with us. Then, in addition to all that, we're going to have the banner ceremony. Hopefully, we get to 1,000 signatures. We're also going to have my book being released that day. We're going to have the WrestleCon. Now, the WrestleCon, all of those names will be at the WrestleCon. So if you want to see the stars of the TWA, shake their hands, get their autographs, pictures, they'll be there. In addition, we're looking at about 50 other major names, okay, names that you'll know from nationally. We've already announced one, okay, and our first and one that we've announced is Sabu. And Sabu, which was very popular, obviously, in his ECW days, he got his start on the East Coast with the TWA. Okay, and we have it on YouTube where he was in a couple of our battle royals, and he just did an amazing dive into the ring. And so almost everybody that we're going to have at the WrestleCon has some tie-in to the TWA. Now, Sabu, like I said, we started with him. He certainly didn't make his name with us. God bless him. He went on to bigger and better things with ECW and his career, but he got started with us. He was wrestling in the Detroit area. One of the matches that I had in Philadelphia was the original Sheik against Abdul the Butcher. And as the story is that the original Sheik did not drive, and he had to come in from Detroit. So Sabu is his nephew. So he was the driver for Sheik, and we basically took him and put him in the ring. All right. So Sabu will be our first attendee. We're going to have a list of 15 to 20 national names, but the real stars of WrestleCon, the real stars, are the TWA stars. Okay?
Right.
Like that list I just gave you are going to be there all day for the WrestleCon. They'll be for the show that night, and they're going to be at the after party. All right? So we've got a lot of stuff coming up. It's all – now, I will tell you, if any of your viewers want to get tickets, you go online to the 2300arena.com. Tickets are available for sale as we speak. We have 25% of our front row seats are gone. They have seats general admission, reserved seating. You can go online and you can check it out and make your reservations and buy your tickets. There's also a ticket purchase for the WrestleCon. The WrestleCon is $20. Take care of the 3.5 hours, and once you're in, you're in. The tickets for sale with the show start as low as $25. First row does go up to $100. It's a small arena of 879 seats, so you got to place the seats accordingly. But if you want to see front row, we still got them available. There's 80 front row seats. We've got 20 of them sold, and so the tickets are on sale online. The box office, if you're in Philadelphia and you want to go down to the box office to get your tickets, the box office is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 to 3. Okay. But if you go online, 2300arena.com, you can get the tickets. And then what we're going to be doing, we're going to be dripping the names out. We have the matches pretty well lined up. We've got most of the talent lined up for the WrestleCon. We've announced the first one as Sabu, and every week we're going to announce another one or two. And eventually, come the early spring of next year, all the names will be out, all the matches will be out, and people will be impressed with the show we're going to be putting together for sure.
Well, Joel, I tell you, it really sounds like 2300 Arena is going to be not standing after this show because
Right.
with the amount of heat that's going to be in there, I
Oh
wouldn't
my
be surprised
God.
if it's torn down too.
My insurance people have been in touch with. It's unbelievable. They're all concerned that I put one on one side, one on the other. And I said, yeah, but they're all in the same dressing room. I mean, oh my God. So it's going to be. Keep in mind, I went out of business in '92, so it's been 32 years since a lot of these guys have seen.
Though.
Oh my God, they do. And look, I'm dealing with all of them now on the phone, and the stories I'm getting on the phone. Oh. This is going to be a nightmare for me, but I'm going to get through it. I hope.
Well, hopefully we see you in this spot where you get your payback for the burial of TWA.
My goal is to be there. I'm looking forward, to be honest with you. What made the TWA was the fans, and I'm hoping that the fans come out and support this. Because the reality is we're not looking to make money on it. Trust me, we're not making money on this show. All right, we're doing it for the love of the sport. We're doing it for the nostalgia. We're doing it, quite frankly, because we wrestled and we brawled and we started it all.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have done, I've said it multiple times, you built the foundation for something that is going to live on literally forever. I mean, it doesn't matter what new promotions come out. It doesn't matter who tries to replicate it. It doesn't matter. You set the standard for quite possibly, or well, not even possibly, what happened to become the greatest promotion to, I mean, you're talking over 30 years and it's still being talked about. You look at the championship replicas, you look at, t-shirts, action figures, people still go back to that. They prefer the old championship replicas and the things that you built the foundation for. People would rather have that than the new beautiful design of this championship or that new t-shirt. And it doesn't matter how much money you make from it or whatever it is. The fact that legacy has just been around and everybody still talks about it. I mean, and it says a lot about you as a person, to do this, to not make any money off it, but just to do it for the fans. Again, there's not very many people that are like that. Everybody's more into, I'm in it for the money. I want to be, to be famous. And it's like, that's not really what it's always about.
Sure.
To do it for the fans and to give them something to enjoy. I mean, yeah, the money is nice, and it helps, but there's not very many good-hearted people like yourself that are willing to go out there and even put money into it just to get back to the fans. I can't say enough good. I can't say enough good things about you, Joel. It's fantastic what you're doing.
I appreciate that, and like I said, if you can make it down, I understand your family situation for sure. If you can make it live, come on in. If you can't make it live, we're going to stream it. That's two things that were remaining. One, we are going to have it live streamed, and we'll let you know what that channel is, etc. We're also filming it for a documentary. Ryan Cavanaugh, one of our guys who just did the documentary for the ECWA for Jim Kettner, is doing one for us. And the good news is that he's filming all this. He's putting it together. He's interviewing all these names that I just gave you. And we're putting together a documentary that will be available as well. And that's going to be for the benefit of the Call Club. So more details to follow all this stuff. We'll keep you guys in the loop. Bay's got you on his list. He's got you on his press releases. And you'll be kept informed as we produce more names, get more commitments, and we put together more matches for the show.
I mean, definitely looking forward to it. And I apologize for everybody over on Instagram. If you guys have any questions, I deeply apologize for ignoring you guys. That's my fault. Mac, you're able to see that. Do we have anybody that has any questions?
I think Joel's been actually answering their questions.
Even
where,
better.
What day? They're basically what day, what time? Who's all going to be there?
Yeah, well, it's Saturday, May 3rd. It'll be all day long, starting at 12 o'clock to 3:30 for the Rasselkind. 6 o'clock, doors open to 7:30, and then 7:30 the show. Show's going to run to give or take 10:30, 10:45, and then we're going to start the after party. And we haven't announced where yet, but the after party will start around 11 o'clock, and we'll run as long as people can stand up.
It sounds like one hell of a good time.
Joe, do you think you're going to be able to stand up for the after party?
Well, the answer is yes. Now, unfortunately, I had some injuries, so I have to use a walker. But yes, I will be standing up. Yes, hey, this is my final blowout, so I'm going to take it all in. I'll be the first one there and the last one out. I can guarantee it.
Like I said, Joel, hopefully you get a chance to get your payback and even put in some good licks, because I tell you, for that to happen, TWA never should have been disrespected and buried like that. And I tell you right now, if I could be there, I would be more than happy to give them those licks for you. But
same.
Thanks, Bud. I appreciate that, guys. Here's all I can say. If you can't make it, be there in person by being the viewer. If you can make it up from North Carolina, I can give you directions if you need directions. I got people coming from all over the country. Mike Lano's coming in from California. I mentioned Bay Ragney's coming in from Nashville. I've got people coming in from Florida, from Rhode Island, all over the place. So
now, Joel,
you know where to come.
Go ahead. I apologize.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
So the problem you have with Bay, though, is if he walks into that arena, Joel, and he's got a box of donuts or crunch berries or a cake or something, about the moment I tell you, if you see him, and I don't know, hopefully there'll be a Dudley reunion. I would love to see that. But if there is, and one of them gets incapacitated, it's all over. Bay's going to run out of that building, and you ain't ever going to see him. So if you
see me and Uncle Bay having a food fight, just let it be. Just let it be.
I'll tell you what. I'll hold them up while you throw the food at him. How's that for you?
Hey, there we go.
Look at that. Joel is on your side, Mac.
Hey, I love Bay to death, but he's an asshole. Excuse me.
I mean, I can see that out of him, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will say, though, so, and you know what? No, that actually brings up a good point. Is he sent us some autographed cards. Sent one to me and one to Mac. And Mac, I think you said something about let's eat cake together. And for some reason, I'm thinking that he's just trying to set you up, dude. Like, I don't know if I could trust Uncle Bay. He might be trying to set you up to put your face in some cake there.
Well, look, like I said, whenever me and Uncle Bay meet, there will be a table made out of cake. One of us is going through it.
Mac is going to throw Big Macs at Uncle Bay, and Uncle Bay's going to start throwing cake and crunch berries. Or you might get the exact opposite. Mac is going to throw Big Macs at Bay, and Bay's just going to eat them.
or me and Babe just say screw it, and we'll just jump through the table together, making snow angels and cake batter.
There you go. There you go.
The whole point, ladies and gentlemen, is you come to this show, you never know what you're gonna get.
Nope. And that's what that's what makes our show. We don't prive on asking a billion questions. We may ask you some questions here and there, but we just want to laugh. We want to talk. And like Stone Cold Steve Austin says, yes, I'll take this from him. Shoot the breeze and have a cold one.
There you go.
We want to laugh, cry, and just be a part of the journey, And if anybody wants to come in, sit down and chat with us, we're okay with that. So, I mean,
good.
oh yeah, and Joel, I will say, definitely appreciate taking the time to come on and talk with us and everything like that. I mean, we still have a few more minutes yet, but I just, again, we have so much love and appreciation for what you have built, and regardless of stepping away and just I guess kind of disappearing or whatever it is, that doesn't take away from the fact that you still deserve the credit for what you built, and regardless of who has seen you put in the work and who hasn't, it's the responsibility of those that have seen you put in the work to make those who haven't aware of it. You definitely deserve the credit, much like everybody else. And that's one thing I will say about this banner. Please, everybody, we are going to make sure to get you a link to that banner. Please go on and sign the petition, and let's make this happen, because those 5 names on there, they deserve the recognition and the credit for what they have done. Because if it wasn't for these 5 gentlemen, you wouldn't have you wouldn't have wrestling.
You wouldn't have your lame ass WWE this day.
You wouldn't have the Attitude Era. You wouldn't have what you guys love so much. So please go on. We beg of you, go on, sign the petition. And I don't beg, at least very often. So please go on, sign the petition, and let's get those 1,000 signatures. Let's make it happen, folks.
I appreciate all your help in the promotion of the banner. Certainly enjoy helping you or helping me promote the card and the WrestleCon. I appreciate it. I hope to meet you guys in person. AJ, of course, I understand your situation. So we'll certainly meet each other at some point in the future.
Oh, yeah.
Bottom line is that this is a celebration of wrestling fans of Philadelphia. And on Saturday, May 3rd, we're looking forward to meeting as many of them as possible and having a party.
Oh, yeah.
Joe, if you would like to send us more information about this, that we can spread the word, we'll put it on our website. We'll put it on our social media platforms. And
everywhere we can, we'll make sure.
I'll make sure Uncle Bay gets it all out to you, and we'll keep you guys in the loop. You'll be one of the first to know. And as we drip these names out, you'll be able to promote them for us, and we thank you for your help.
Absolutely. And Joel, also in our private chat, we linked our
phone numbers.
Our phone numbers. Yep. So for the information for oh my gosh,
I got it.
But yeah. So on that note, though, Mac, it's about that time. Joel, if you don't mind in assisting us here, we do a little thing at the end of every show where we throw it up here like this. And we say, if it ain't sweet, it ain't
tasty.
We love you all.
Go for it. Bittersweet. Go for it. You got it.
So thank you, Joel, again for being a part of the show. And we love you all. Stay safe. Be good. Please.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. One more thing.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Everyone, please go check out this episode after tonight. This was our 100th episode. and
Fantastic.
our first wrestling podcast on Coming Off the Bench.
Mm-hmm. On
Way
that
to
note,
go, guys. Congratulations.
oh yeah,
Appreciate it.
thank you, Joel, and for everybody
Thank you.
out there, we love you all. Stay safe. Now it's time to two sweet your asses on out of here. Until later.
Take care, guys.
You
Thank
as
you,
well.
Joel.
Thanks.
Out